Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Two Crossroads banks prepare to merge. We have the numbers. And a new trade deal ahead of the president's deadline. What will the impact on American families look like? Plus, extreme weather continues across the country as dangerous heat continues.
And that dangerous heat will be picking up for us in the Crossroads this week as high pressure moves right here on our doorstep. But if that's not for you, we do have some heat relief. It's not what you're thinking. It's going to be from the tropics. We'll have all that weather coming up.
Alrighty, Trenton Whiting here with your 25 News Now Sports. We've got a lot to talk about in baseball, and we'll check in with the Little League World Series with Victoria Northeast coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday morning. I know it's not a happy day for everyone because not everyone loves Mondays the way I do.
Monday.
But I think of it as a new opportunity to have a good week.
I agree. Everybody get out there and enjoy a brand new week, but maybe do that safely because it's going to be hot. It is late July, early August after all, so y'all get ready for some summer heat before that gets here. It's 77 here in Victoria. Get a nice pink sunrise to start out the day. That's pretty. 75 dew point, bringing us a humidity of 94% this morning, which is technically enough underneath some very calm to light winds to see a little bit of light patchy fog around the area this morning. Going to be patchy, not everywhere, so just be careful if you see any of that on the roads this morning. Right now we're looking at visibility, the lowest down to about 2 miles reported over Nixon, but I would not be surprised if there's some a little bit denser areas patchy in nature. So just be careful with that. That'll clear up around 8 a.m. And also we're looking at just a few spotty sprinkles around the area. You can see there was a few in Victoria County, but that is pretty much no longer with us. It's weathered away, but down on the coast, there is one shower that's approaching Ostwell and Seadrift over the next 20 to 30 minutes. So y'all get ready for that, but we're going to continue watching this radar all day long. It'll look like that, chances at 10%. The background, it's mainly going to be sunny and hot today, so please stay safe. All those details coming up next.
Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an unconditional ceasefire to end deadly border clashes. The Malaysian Prime Minister announced the agreement this morning. Military and officials from both countries will meet to defuse tensions. The clashes began last Thursday after a landmine explosion wounded Thai soldiers. At least 35 people are dead and over 260,000 people are displaced. 2 people died in a deadly crash Friday morning in Lavaca County, shutting down a major highway during early traffic. The vehicles collided head-on just after 6:15 in the morning on U.S. Highway 90, about 3 miles east of Hallettsville. Authorities report that 55-year-old Gregory James D'Artes drove along the highway when another vehicle crossed into his lane. D'Artes was pronounced dead at the scene. The other driver, born in 2009, also died. Authorities have not released the younger driver's name, and the crash cause remains under investigation. The pretrial date for local public defender Brian Watson, charged with misuse of official information, is not yet set. Despite his indictment, the Crossroads Regional Public Defenders Oversight Board approved Watson as chief starting May 6, 2024, with a $160,000 annual salary. His attorney, Brian Garris, said a pretrial issue with the Texas 13th District Court of Appeals is delaying the pretrial. Victoria County Commissioners are set to meet at 10 this morning. They will receive for the record the 2025 Airport Infrastructure Grant Agreement for the reconstruction of a runway and terminal parking lots. They will also receive the ASPCA Grant Agreement for Victoria County Animal Services. Commissioners will recognize the Victoria County Historical Commission for receiving the 2025 Distinguished Service Award. A prominent bank is about to grow even larger in the Crossroads. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with South Texas Prosperity Bank Chairman John Zaczek to learn more.
Prosperity and American Bank have decided to come to an agreement and merge businesses. With Prosperity Bank being present in 70% of Victoria, Prosperity Bank Chairman John Zaczek says the expanding banks will enhance their presence in the South Texas region.
Us having the 6 locations here in Victoria, soon to be 7, is really critical to that, because you want that customer service to be second to none.
This merging deal will equal to $321.5 million. With this deal, American Bank will keep its employees and they'll work alongside Prosperity Bank to focus on relationship banking.
It's not just about the transaction. We don't just want your mortgage loan, or we don't just want your car loan, or to finance your business. We want you to have a relationship with the bank.
Prosperity Bank currently operates 283 full-service banking locations in Texas. It's already the largest agricultural bank in the state. This merger will make Prosperity Bank one of the top 5 banks in Texas. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
The Westhoff Volunteer Fire Department is looking to upgrade their equipment to better serve their area. They're asking for an increase of $140,000 from DeWitt County. Westhoff Volunteer Fire Chief Andrew Weekle says the increase would give him the opportunity to have better radios and a better response time for residents. The Volunteer Fire Department raises money through donations or fundraisers. Weekle says if he has better radios, he'll be able to communicate with any of the surrounding counties.
Having less stress allows us to respond better and faster, and it takes the burden off of supporting our communities.
Weekle also says that the increase would be used for maintenance and insurance for the trucks that they already have. We reached out to the county judge and we're waiting to hear back. President Trump and the European Union have reached a preliminary agreement ending months of uncertainty surrounding trade with the United States' largest trade partner. The president making the announcement on Sunday following a high-stakes meeting with EU officials in Turnberry, Scotland. The trade deal will set tariffs at 15% across the board. As part of the deal, the European Union has agreed to purchase $750 billion in U.S. energy and will also purchase military equipment. Now to the nation's severe weather turning dangerous and even deadly. From extreme heat to heavy rain, here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
Dangerously high heat is fueling extreme weather across the country. This tornado touching down near Watertown, South Dakota. The severe storms contributing to more than 1,200 flight cancellations and nearly 9,000 delays nationwide. And now more than 170 million Americans from the plains to the East Coast are bracing for life-threatening temperatures.
We're trying to stay by the pool, stay by the water if we can.
As more people head to the beach to beat the heat, concerns about safety at national parks. An 18-year-old in Maryland drowned at Assateague Island National Seashore, which is managed by the National Park Service. Officials say lifeguards rushed to help 2 swimmers about 150 yards outside the guarded zone of the beach, the teen later dying at the hospital. It comes just weeks after Maryland's U.S. senators urged the Trump administration to fill lifeguard roles they say were left vacant by federal budget cuts. The senators writing, "Lives are at risk." About 1,000 National Park Service employees were fired by the Trump administration in February. As for that heat, feel-like temperatures could reach nearly 115 in some places this week. Officials warning people to stay hydrated after several hikers in Phoenix had to be rescued from a local hiking trail.
They really underestimated what that challenge can be on that mountain. They did have water. They ran out of water. They didn't have enough water.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
The man who stabbed 11 people at a Michigan Walmart over the weekend could face terrorism charges. 42-year-old Bradford Gill left 11 people injured after stabbing them with a folding knife at the Traverse City Walmart on Saturday. Officials say he has a history of assault incidents and controlled substance violations. At least one citizen armed with a pistol confronted Gill and stopped him from committing further harm. The motive behind the stabbings remains unclear. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. The time now, let's get a look at our clock up here at 6:39 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. Rising temperatures in the Crossroads bring unexpected wildlife encounters.
The U.S. and the European Union reach a preliminary trade deal after a meeting in Scotland. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with the details and the potential impact on American companies and consumers.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, you heard me say it's going to be another hot day all across Texas. So coming up next, I'll tell you just how hot I think it'll be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. Looking again at your radar because we do still have just a couple isolated showers happening ongoing right now. They're all right now over the Gulf waters right now, but over the next about 20 or 30 minutes or so, you can see everybody in the inland counties. It's nice and clear. There were a few sprinkles out there earlier, but that's all weathered away. But we're still looking at these two isolated showers, one coming up towards Seadrift by around 7:15 to 7:20, and another couple is coming up toward Palacios by about 7:30 to 7:40. So y'all get ready for that if that's coming your way. Otherwise, nobody needs their umbrella for today. Today we're going to have a very low 10%, 10% chances to see maybe a little bit of maybe one or two spotty isolated showers somewhere around the area. And that'll go between, I'm thinking, the hours 10 a.m. all the way up until about 4 p.m. with daytime heating continuing all the way through the afternoon. And that'll happen because look at this. You can see in your future tracker, look how sunny it's going to be out there all day today. We will have a few passing clouds, but otherwise it's going to be mostly sunny today. And with that beaming Texas sun, if you don't see rain today, I'm looking for a high of about 96 this afternoon right here in Victoria, which is right where we should be. Average is 96 this time of year. Record's 103, set way back in 1912. But we are going to have that 10% chance for rain today. So keep your fingers crossed that keeps you a little cooler because we're going to have heat indices up to about 105 to 109 in the inland counties, down to 110 to 112 down on the coast. And for the rest of this week, we're also going to have a chance for fog, especially tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning with high pressure moving overhead. So be careful, but also be really careful with the heat. We're going to look at that and the rain chances coming up next.
All right, Crossroads, the big story today is the Victoria Northeast Little League Senior Division as they played their opener in the Little League World Series. So let's get right to it. The Victoria Northeast Little League represented the Southwest region against the Central region. The offense was the story, Southwest picking up runs in each inning from the 2nd to the 6th with a game-high 3 runs in the 4th inning. They held a 9-5 lead going into the bottom of the 7th with Central only doing damage in a 5-run 4th inning. With just 1 out away from a win, Central hit a big 2-out, 2 RBI single to tie the game and force extra innings. Central went ahead and finished it in extras with an RBI single after a sacrifice bunt. Southwest drops to the redemption bracket with a 10-9 heartbreaker. They'll take on the West region today at 9 a.m. to keep their World Series hopes alive. It's a 2-loss tournament, so another L means elimination. Good luck to the boys today. With your 25 News Now Sports, I'm Trenton Whiting.
Now to the latest on the trade deal with the European Union. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with a potential impact on American families.
Thank you very much. This morning, the U.S. and the European Union reach a preliminary trade deal after a high-stakes meeting at President Trump's golf course in Scotland. The full details are still being worked out, but the deal calls for a 15% tariff on most EU exports to the U.S. with few exceptions.
This is probably the biggest deal ever reached in any capacity, trade or beyond trade.
President Trump says the EU, which is made up of 27 countries, will also buy $750 billion in American energy and invest $600 billion in the U.S. And he says there will be no tariffs on American exports to Europe. The president of the European Commission calling it a huge deal that followed tough negotiations.
It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic.
Despite the tariffs being much lower than the 30% Trump had previously threatened if no deal was reached by August 1st, experts warn that these tariffs will still increase prices for U.S. companies and consumers. Some worry more countries may not follow through on investing.
It is very unclear how also Europe will deliver on these investment plans. Let's not forget the European Commission cannot decide on how individual companies will do their investments.
Other analysts add that prices will still rise on popular European products that previously had low or no tariffs, including French perfume, German cars, and the EU's largest export to the U.S., pharmaceuticals. The deal comes as the latest Marquette University Law School poll shows a majority of Americans, 65%, disapprove of the president's handling of tariffs. President Trump will meet with the British Prime Minister today in Scotland to finalize a trade deal outlined earlier this year. At the same time, U.S. and Chinese leaders are meeting in Sweden for more trade talks and are expected to extend the current pause on tariffs. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
As temperatures rise in the Crossroads, so do encounters with unexpected wildlife like alligators. During a morning run, meteorologist Jacob Lozano spotted an alligator crossing West Red River Street. A month ago, Victoria County Animal Services recovered a 5-foot gator, the largest they've handled this year. With summer heat, gators become more active. If you see one, don't approach or feed it. The safest move is to keep your distance. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, have you ever spotted an alligator in Victoria? Okay, let's take a look. 56% of you say yes, and 44% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Former students of FW Gross High School gathered this weekend to celebrate their legacy. Once known as the Victoria Colored School, renamed in 1936, it was the only school for black students during segregation. The annual reunion honors their strength, education, and the path they paved for future generations.
Well, it's very important because it marks a transition, really, from an old system into a new system. And fortunately, I was so well prepared by FW Gross, I had no difficulties advancing in advanced education.
FW Gross closed in the mid-1960s during integration, but the spirit of the school lives on. It later became an elementary school, and now it serves as an early childhood learning center. The time now, let's take a look. It's 6:48 on our Monday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. This summer, electricity bills are rising faster than the heat. We take a look at what may be to blame. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Ruby. Happy birthday, Ruby. Have a great day. And I love her hair is like bright and vibrant like a ruby too.
Yeah, she's got some purple and some dark. I love that.
She's matching the lipstick.
That's right. Happy birthday, Ruby. And you may know him for his starring roles in movies like BlacKkKlansman and Tenet, or for being the son of Denzel Washington. Actor John David Washington is turning 41 today. Happy birthday, John. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
Okay, the time is now, it just turned 6:49 on our Monday morning. Happy birthday to my friend JR. Hope you and Carol and Julia get to celebrate with some homemade pasta today. And happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you did this weekend.
Maybe you did it over the weekend. That's right. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw that 7-day forecast a few moments ago, and you saw some possible alert days issued for Wednesday all the way through Friday. And you're probably wondering, why don't we have one issued for tomorrow, Tuesday? Because I'm sure you know those are going to be issued possibly for the heat. That's going to be dangerous heat indices later this week, between 110 all the way to maybe 120 again. Well, we don't have one issued for tomorrow, Tuesday, because that's right when the high pressure starts getting real close to us. And why I say that is because in the morning time, winds are going to be out of the west, like a west-southwest wind, and then it will shift back into the Gulf for the late afternoon time. So humidity tomorrow, as a result of that, going to be a little bit slightly drier. We'll see heat indices up to only 104 or 105. But then going into Wednesday, high pressure gets a little bit closer, and that's going to return the consistent southerly winds out of the Gulf, and that'll bring our heat indices back to 110 plus. So that's why we have possible alert days for later this week. But if y'all are looking for some kind of heat relief, it's not this. Don't you worry. There is going to be a cool front that passes through the country, but it's not going to pass us. It's actually going to stall somewhere right around there, and that should turn into some kind of possible tropical system. Just like last week and the week before that, we're looking at a near repeat scenario. Between August 1st, the entire first week of August, we were looking at maybe some more tropical blob of moisture moving across the Gulf, not turning it into anything, but it will bring us some rain chances for this weekend as the high pressure system split. But we're going to look at all of that more coming up later on Sunrise.
Electricity bills are climbing this summer, and it's not just because of the heat. Experts are pointing to the booming demand for artificial intelligence. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
This summer, electricity bills are surging, but it's not just because of people cranking up their air conditioners. In Philadelphia, the average bill is up $17 a month. In Trenton, New Jersey, $26. In Columbus, Ohio, $27. And it's the artificial intelligence boom that's getting the blame. As the demand for AI has skyrocketed, so too has the need for data centers that power the technology. Those data centers use a lot of power, and the grid is struggling to keep up.
If we do not act decisively, we risk ceding AI leadership to countries that are moving faster to modernize their energy infrastructure.
At a Senate hearing last week, lawmakers and energy experts warn the electric grid is not ready for the coming wave of AI-powered data centers. And while industry leaders called for urgent investment in new generation, they avoided taking sides on fossil fuels versus renewables.
We need more energy,
more generation, and
more generation, and we need more transmission independent of source.
But President Trump, at an artificial intelligence summit in Pennsylvania, said fossil fuels will power the AI age.
We're unleashing all forms of energy, including natural gas, oil, and clean, beautiful coal.
Critics say that strategy ignores the reality of what's cheapest and fastest to build.
Clean energy is the most affordable, and it's the fastest type of energy generation to deploy, outpacing natural gas, which is facing years-long backlogs in turbine availability.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. A suspect is on the run after 2 people were found dead near a walking trail at a state park. A suspect is on the run after 2 people were found dead Saturday near a trail at Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas. A married couple was hiking with their daughters when the suspected homicide was reported. Police described the suspect as a white man with a medium build. Rugged terrain and poor cell service are hampering the search. Samsung Electronics announced a $16.5 billion chip manufacturing deal with an undisclosed global company, boosting its shares by 3.5%. Signed July 26, the contract runs through 2033. The deal comes as Samsung struggles in AI chip production, affecting profits and share price, and supports South Korea's push for U.S. trade partnerships to avoid potential 25% tariffs. It is not clear how the order would affect Samsung's plan to start production at its new factory in Texas. Today, the Trump administration holds talks with 2 countries ahead of early next month's trade deadlines. President Trump meets with the UK Prime Minister in Scotland to refine last month's trade deal outline. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is in Sweden for talks with Chinese officials, aiming to finalize the deal with China by August 12th. We want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at our forecast with Parker. Parker, I know what you're going to say already.
Yeah, you already know, and y'all know what I'm about to say. It's going to be hot outside, so please stay cool and hydrated this week. We're actually probably looking for the hottest week of the year. So far, we'll look at those temperatures here in a second because we're starting out the day 77 in Port Lavaca, dew point 75. 2 degrees off is bringing us some high humidity, and technically that humidity underneath some calm to very light winds this morning. We actually have a little bit of light patchy fog. We're going to look at that map here, the visibility map after this, because up here in our northern counties, actually not even our counties, over near San Antonio, Seguin, and all the way up through the Austin area, they have that special weather statement issued for fog, so please be careful if you're heading that direction. Otherwise, the rain activity has pretty much died off, and we're going to be looking at a radar just like that for the rest of the day. Chances are at 10%. But the fog, please be careful with that if you're headed out the door before you do anything else. But what you really need to be doing later today is staying safe in the heat, because we're looking for a high of 95 today, Port Lavaca. Underneath that beaming Texas sun, same thing in Victoria, but a bit warmer. Thinking 96 today with heat indices up to 108, 109 in the inland counties, up to 111, 112 on the coast. About 96, I'm thinking, for the high in Cuero. But don't get used to the mid-90s, because we're back in the upper 90s, something even in the low 100s later this week, with possible alert days up for heat indices above 110.
All right, thank you for being with us. Join Shauna Dawn, Maclovia, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Have a good day and stay cool.
Stay cool, please.